All right. Welcome, everyone, to the April 11th, the Growth Committee meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order and move right into the approval of the minutes from February. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Harris and the mayor. All those on the question, all those in favor, raise your hands. Perfect. Thank you. I'll take a mover for the approval of the agenda. Mayor and Councillor Harris. On the question, all those in favor, hands. Thank you. Next is a disclosure of any conflict of interest. Not seeing any today. Alrighty. And we're going to move right into our first item tonight, or today, sorry, with the YMCA, the Glen Carpenter Center Overview with Ms. Shyla Boucher. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. I think you just press the red or the button down there. Go.
Right, or, oh, there we go. It's all set. Thank you for having me. So nice to be here. It's so nice to see everybody and to be able to talk a little bit about what's going on at our YMCA. Really, I guess the purpose of today is to bring awareness to the city, to each of you, about our upcoming project and what it means for the city, what it means for those that the YMCA serves. And then we hope to pass it on to the city manager around the grant, in respect to the grant policy, and see how we may be able to make a request for some support. So that's our goal here, is just really to bring awareness, get some of your feedback perhaps, and any questions that you might have, and ideas that maybe we can incorporate. So I think the presentation is here. This is my first time presenting to Growth Committee, so bear with me for a minute. And just a little bit about our YMCA. I think a lot of you probably know we are a charity. We're actually going to celebrate 170 years in St. John next year. So hopefully you'll be learning more about our birthday celebrations. We actually own three of our own assets, and the Glen Carpenter Center, which I'm going to speak about today, is one of those assets, as well as the Regional Y and the Camp Glenburn. But we also operate in many other locations, which some of you know, because some of them are city locations, and we have a lot of partnerships. So we operate in 18 different locations. So we do a lot of work in the community, a lot of work around childcare, a lot of work around newcomers. Most people know us for our recreational facilities for membership, but we also do a lot of community development work. Our most recent piece of work is our presence in Blacks Harbour. We are doing recreation programs out of the rink in Blacks Harbour. So we are reaching beyond our boundaries and seeing what else we can do to support our community. So I'll get started on the Glen Carpenter Center. So this is the main project we're going to talk about today. And we have created a vision around this facility. And really our vision is coming from the fact that the gentleman who donated this land to us back in 2000, it's a long time ago now, really had a vision, Glen Carpenter, for creating a place for inner city youth. And I think you all can agree that's a great vision to be able to bring to life. And I'd like to recognize we have a couple of our staff here today. Adrian Boudreau is our Chief Operating Officer, and Jeff Gibbons also is our camp manager. So he oversees the programming at this facility, and really Adrian developed this vision. So I want to really appreciate them and recognize them. And if there's questions that I can't answer, one of those folks will be able to do that. So really we want to empower youth through outdoor education, recreation, and leadership development opportunities. And one of the things we do at the Y, if you've been to any of our events, is we always like to start with a Y story to help us ground us, understand the impacts we're having and why we do the work we do. So this is a really cute video out of the Glen Carpenter Center. It's Sarah and Jane, and prior to attending camp, they didn't know each other. So they had the opportunity to become best friends at Camp Glenburn. And this is just one of the examples of the impact that summer camps have on our kids. It's creating friendship. Sarah was new to our community and was looking for a place to belong, a place where she could connect. Her family didn't have a lot of money, so obviously part of what the Y does is remove financial barriers, so we were able to provide access to the programs at Glen Carpenter for her and her family. And this was one of the main locations she was really excited about to attend in the summer, and we hope that she's going to come back this summer as well. So the nature-based program surrounded by a natural lake, including hiking trails, 220 acres, actually, of Acadian forests, was what resonated with Sarah. She cannot wait to get back to Glen Carpenter Center to swim in the lake, hike the trails, build her archery skills, and connect with her friends, her long-lost friend, one of her best friends that she created at Camp Glenmore. And she is just one of thousands of children that actually have the opportunity to attend camp with us, to build their social skills, grow confidence, develop leadership skills, and something they'll remember for a lifetime. So that's just one of our little stories that we do. The other one because I was out there last summer, one of our staff told me a story. So we've been running camp for over 20 years at Glen Carpenter Center. He actually attended camp and was so excited to become a staff to help the young people develop leadership skills at the Y. So it's so nice to see that happening at the camp as well. So just a little bit about our history. I've already kind of talked about the fact of the donation to the YMCA back in 2000. And it's an old piece of land. And then back in 2002, the Y started to build onto it because really all that was there was a lodge and a caretaker's accommodation. And then in 2005 is really when we started to see day camps becoming a reality and taking off at that location. We continued to upgrade. We used to have porta potties out there. So in 2018, we with the support of some of our donors and our province, we actually built what the team calls the hangar. It's washrooms and program space. We created some counselor and training programs, trying to really grow the capabilities and the leadership development aspects of the camp. In 2021, which during the pandemic, I guess, we received funding and were able to create a 2-kilometer walking trail around the lake. The lake is Ashburn Lake. Many of you may know that. And then just recently, towards the end of last year, with the work of Adrian and team, our board of directors approved the business plan, which I'm presenting today, to upgrade our center to year-round facility. So currently, the facility only operates truly for 10 weeks of the year for summer camp. And so with this plan, it will open 52 weeks a year, obviously increasing the amount of people that we're able to serve and the things that we're able to do. So this is something that our board fully supports and we're ready to move on. So summer day camps, this is just an example of how we've grown over the years. So we do, last year we reached over 1,000 kids. So that was a big milestone for us and another good way to talk to our board about why we need to do this. So a little bit about what we're gonna do. Excuse me. So around outdoor education is our focus. And this is one of the things that we learned through the pandemic as well. We already knew it, but there was an opportunity for us to do more to support kids and their learning and development for outdoor education. Not even just kids, but families. Families want to engage more in our environment and in outdoors. So Camp Carpenter is a great place to do this. So we are going to focus on 3 areas. After school program. So we want to launch a brand new outdoor education after school program, which will serve 90 kids at this location. And it will be a licensed program, so that means affordability for parents and obviously quality, which is really important to the YMCA. To do this, we'll have to build a new building because right now the facility is not a year-round facility, so a building will need to be put in place. We've worked with the school district to talk to them about how do we get these kids to camp, to after school and to camp. They're going to work with us, and so we have 3 schools that will bus directly to us, which is really important. And the team, Jeff specifically, is working with various partners on our outdoor education program and what that can become and what that will look like. And then our summer camp, which I've already talked about, but our dream has always been to see at least 1,500 kids using that facility. It's 220 acres, so it doesn't really seem like a lot, but it's our goal, and so we're focused on that. And obviously the new building will help us do that, as well as some fun other aspects that we want to add in, which is an airnasium, which is an outdoor gymnasium. I don't think we have anything like it in New Brunswick. So we like to be first in St. John, right? A-frames for youth programming and other, other supports. And also, we want to build on our leadership programs that we have, and we'll be able to do that through these various structures and partnerships that we are developing. And then finally, our school district, who we already partner with on many other aspects. We're in their schools, we're in our childcare centers, our early learning centers are in their schools. We do so much programming. And so our dream is that there'll be curriculum built from these programs, that they'll be able to come to Camp Carpenter or Glenburn or any of the outdoor facilities, and maybe some right here in the city, that we see our young people really learning and developing those skills. So that's something that we're dreaming about for the first part. So this is the biggest phase that we're looking at for the development of Carpenter, which will get us kids out there 5 days a week, which we're really excited about. And then the other aspect is community. So we dreamt about, well, what does it mean when this facility is year-round? We already do some things. Obviously, we have our corporations who like to come out and use the facility and be able to do team building. But we also know we'll be able to do some courses. We have a lot of certification programs at the Y, so we want to build on those. We want to, obviously, we have a membership base, and as I mentioned at the beginning, getting people outdoors is a real focus for us, and we want to tie it back to our other facilities, and how do we get people finding other passions outside of our walls at the Regional Y or the Irving Oil Field House. And so we're going to build that. We're going to build that, see what that looks like. We want to do different weekenders, as we like to call it, and then off-season programming. And so I guess those two aspects are where we can welcome community into the facility, whether we're hosting a fishing derby, we're doing maybe a wellness retreat. We like to do Healthy Kids Day. We invite the whole community out. We've done some fun runs, and we want to add on to those. And just snowshoeing, skating. There's so much potential with this facility. And of course, the impact, we're going to be able to reach 2,000 kids annually, which will be huge. We're going to really help youth develop their skills and connect with the outdoors through our very specific programming. We're going to increase our staff complement, which is exciting as well, and providing outdoor experiences for families and be active together. I think that's a key piece right there, and that's a foundational piece that the Y focuses on, is not just an individual, but the whole family. And then providing new space for community to connect and be well, and to find different ways for us to connect with our community. And we really think, and this is probably, I would like to say, an optimistic goal, but achievable. We'd like to see 5,000 people using our facility on an annual basis versus the 1,000 children that we see out there today. So that's quite an increase for us. And then, so just bringing the vision to life, a few little drawings for you, although we're just finalizing the location and the look of the new building. This is what our facility looks like. You can see the new building would be going up behind the picnic shelter. We have a main lodge that's used mostly for leadership development and corporate retreats. It's a very old lodge. And then you see over there is the hangar that we had put in. We have a sports field, an archery field, and then of course we're going to build around the lake with a building on the trails and the outlooks that's been put in place. And then the airnasium will be back a bit. It's not just shown on here. It's just a bit of an overview of the project. We are doing it in phases because we understand we need to raise money for this and make sure that it's feasible. And one of our big goals is not to disrupt camp, because that would not be we would not make a lot of friends with our parents that we support right now. So the road is done. So you see it's 2022. We actually finished that in 2022, and that's what it looks like. And then these are some of the concepts. So you can see the airnasium is down in the right corner, what that might look like, what some of the other facilities will look like, what our signage will look like, because it's very confusing. We have 3 entrances now, so we want them to be welcomed. And then, of course, the water, the lake is a huge piece of this property, and for the kids. So a little bit about how we're going to do this. Because it's a core Y asset, the Y has contributed, or the board has allowed us to contribute a dollar amount. We've raised money already from government and some of our foundations and some of our private donors, and we're just getting started. Our goal obviously would to be raise the 3.5 million. And we worked with Envision, so I just have to say Envision is wonderful. They got really excited when we talked to them about this project, and they said, well, we can help you with economic impact, some ideas around tourism. So they see the value in this project, which is nice considering they're our growth component of our city. So this is just a little bit about what the impact means to us locally, whether it's through construction or whether it's through operating impacts. Obviously, the biggest one is when we're building it. It has a large impact, but we'll have an ongoing aspect that will have the job creation piece. And I guess what's not being picked up here is by developing these 90 new after-school licensed spaces, we're going to be able to change one of our locations into more childcare focused. There's a huge need for childcare right now. I think you probably all know that. We have a wait list of 800. We serve 800, so it's tremendous, the need. So allowing us to be able to put 90 after school, well, our Milledgeville Community Center, actually, which is supported by the city, will allow us to open more childcare spaces there and move kids out into an outdoor environment. So that's another impact that has not been brought up through this diagram. And that's it. That's my presentation. Hopefully I was under 10 minutes. I didn't time myself, but thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And it's really, I went to middle school with Jeff actually, so hi Jeff. Very cool to see ourselves in adult situations here. This is so fascinating. I had no idea how much childcare, increase you'd be able to provide via these programs. So that's certainly phenomenal to see. I'll toss it over to Councillor Lowe to kick us off here.
Yeah, it says on the after-school program, bus service from 3 area schools. Who are the 3? I don't know. MGT.
MGLT.
Right. Next one.
Milledgeville
ESC. Right. So then we jump to the summer camp, day camp, right? How did the kids get to the camp? By bus?
Well, some of them are driven by their parents.
Right.
And for those, because we work in partnership with some of the priority neighborhoods,
And
we do have a Y bus.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Let's go, we'll say Glen Falls. We can't get over to the field house, which is a very short distance from there to, who supplies the transportation? St. John the Baptist, King Edward, another priority neighborhood. I think it's great. Everything you're doing is great, right? The field house was great. But how do they get transportation to get to these places that you're building that you want us to donate to? That's my problem. And that's a big problem for me when I look at 90% poverty in schools, that the educational people that have these buses won't supply buses unless you pay for them. That's
Yeah.
my problem.
And we do have to pay for school buses to transport kids. Some of the things that we do is we partner with corporations who want to donate. So for instance, some of our newcomers are in the same situation. And so last summer, 40 newcomers with full transportation every day were supported to come to the Glen Carpenter Center. And the Y has a Y bus. So we do whatever we can. We don't only remove financial barriers, we'll find ways to remove the transportation barriers that exist as well. And we work with partners. PALS is another great supporter. And that's what our community's about, is we work with each other to solve the problems. And if I need to reach out to transit, they've been amazing. Just the fact that we have a stop at the Irving Hoyle Fieldhouse now is phenomenal. So there's just things like that we need to continue to work through.
That's my problem with. I think what you're doing is great for kids, right? Great for life as they move on. But my problem is getting the children to these places that you have, right? And I have experienced that they can't get there, that it's hard to get them there. It's hard to get the money to get the kids there, and you can only do so much. And when you run out of sponsors, the kids sit in the school and they don't get to these places. And that's the sad part about this, after all the money going into these things. And, like I say, again, I think they're great. but the kids have to be transferred there to make it work. Other than that, it won't work as far as I'm concerned.
Great point. Moving on to Mayor Reardon.
Shiloh, I wanted to say thank you for being here. I think the project's fantastic. And I do understand what Councillor Lowe's talking about with logistics, but that can be worked out. And, the Y's been a terrific partner for the city. And I've had a great opportunity when I was on transit to work with the Y when we had quite an influx of Syrian immigrants come in, and we worked together. And we provided them with the free passes for that year. And the Y made sure that they were enrolled in the English second language programs, were attending whatever. And we just got the request for the number of passes we needed. So it was great for us because we didn't have to get involved other than you sent us the information. You looked after it all. So I thought it was a fantastic partnership. So I guess, I hear what Councillor Lowe's saying, but I know that you and your team will, be able to overcome some of those obstacles to getting this. And it's a fantastic project. So I'm very supportive of it. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mayor. On to Councillor Harris.
Just to kind of echo some of that, Charlotte, it's great to see you. I had the privilege of teaching a little course at Glen Carpenter out of the, what'd you call it? Not the warehouse, the new building you guys built.
The hangar.
The hangar, thank you. We built bat houses. It was great with the kids. I mean, this answers so many needs to the city that I don't think the community understands how much we rely on partners like you. And the YMCA's come from a place of like near obscurity and just 15 years ago. And now here it is leading the charge on helping us solve one of our key problems to growth, which is childcare spaces. And it's getting harder and harder for private operators to operate daycare spaces and to achieve them. And we don't have the tools around governance in this lane, but we see those people firsthand. We've seen it here in these chambers. So that is a hugely important piece. I know for council, our strategic, one of our priorities is the belong category. And you mentioned that so many times. So this is a crucial partnership from where I stand. And I think it's important that you keep coming back to us to keep telling us what the need is, what you're working on, because it gives us the ability to go and try to advocate for you at different levels. So please rope us in anytime for this stuff. Happy to help because it's a top priority for us. And me personally, I got 3 kids. And so I would love for them to get to an outdoor education center like this in the summer or throughout the year. So anyway.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Harris. On to Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shiloh, thanks so much for coming in. This is so exciting. I've seen that Glen Carpenter Center over the years evolve, and since you guys have taken over, it's really come a long way. And, there's not much that I can say that hasn't already been said. Everybody's pretty proud of why, And I'm just wondering, like, you are leading the way for childcare and child development programming. My concern is West St. John, the outskirts, right? And is there any plan in place? Do you have any desire to open up some sort of a major daycare center out that area?
Yeah, well, because we are working on our new 5-year strategic plan, our goal, and we've submitted proposals to the government, is to open 5 new childcare centers, and one of them would address the west side.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't bring that here today because there is so many things that we work on as a
Yeah.
YMCA, but childcare is probably one of the biggest things.
Yeah, well, you're doing a magnificent job, so thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Great. Well, on behalf of the Growth Committee, we appreciate you coming here today. And thank you very much. Sorry, CEO. Go ahead. Didn't see you there.
Sorry. If I could just chime in for a minute. There is a financial ask here as well, and so I just wanted to put that out there. But in accordance with the new grant policy that Council adopted last fall, the grant policy requests that any request that exceeds $25,000, in which case it does, it requires that it go to the CAO and then be considered as part of the budget for the subsequent year. So for 2024. And we look at things in terms of strategic alignment with council priorities and those sorts of things, and then bring back a recommendation as part of the 2024 budget cycle. So you may want to just touch on the, some of the highlights of the financial ask, and then we can leave it at that.
Yes, thank you. And I'm learning through this process because it's very different when we came for the new building 10 years ago. And I really want to do thank staff because they've been phenomenal at supporting us, and it's been a great process. So one of the things that we worked with Envision on is what should our ask be? And one of our decisions was that the ask should be $125,000. And as discussed, it doesn't have to be right in 1 year, or not even possible this year, it sounds like, but over the next couple of years, and then determine how we can demonstrate how the city has been part of this project and recognized as part of this project. One of the things with us is we're a regional YMCA, and so I will be going to the other municipalities as well to present the project, because we do serve all of their residents. Even though it's in middle of St. John, people still love to come to St. John to be part of this amazing program that we have to offer. And so that's what we're looking at, is to do it over a period of time and to make a financial ask of the city, which we haven't done in a while, other than the support you provide us for our community centers. So we're really hoping that I can convince the city staff that this is a worth project to get behind, and they're going to help us figure out, I guess, where the best way to apply for. So thank you.
Okay, is there anything else we need to do on that? We're good? Okay, awesome. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. And yes, hope you guys have a great day.
All right. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, so moving on to the next item, 4.1, which is the development activity with Amy Povenroff. Take it away, Amy.
There we go. Thank you, members of the Growth Committee. I'm pleased to present the Growth at a Glance for the first quarter of 2023. And so far it's been a very positive start to the year. First quarter results continues a trend of higher than average development numbers in terms of actual building permit numbers, and we're almost $15 million higher in construction value than what the average would be for the same period of time in the last 5 years. All good news. Also, positive trend continues with the number of residential units created with the first quarter of 2023, and with the number of units that is in the development queue, over 1,700 units planned in past development approvals. And currently we have just over 100 units being currently reviewed for building permit applications, and over 400 units currently under construction with active building projects. So very positive in the residential units, much needed here in the city. And with that, I'm happy to take questions. It is a good sign, first quarter, and we look forward to seeing more positive news this year.
Thank you so much, Amy. Councilor Harris.
Just wait. Thank you, Chair. Through you to Amy. Great news. I guess one question I would have, just from high level, if the permits that we have under construction right now were to all, I guess, how many of them could finish by December 31st this calendar year? That, I mean, I know it's a dart throw.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm curious as to if we know the number to projection at the end. Because I think our 5-year average is, it was 255 last year that we did in a single year. Was that what it was, or 3?
Yes, let me just double check. Yeah. Yeah, our 5-year average in number of units, well, for the quarter is 44, and we're exceeding that with 63. Number of units, I don't have the number for last year. I'm sorry, Councillor.
That's okay.
But we have been exceeding significantly. So we have over 400 units right now currently under construction.
Yeah.
And of those, if I were just to take a real quick look at which projects those are. I mean, definitely there's at least 100 that are getting very close to completion. and I'd say well over 100 before the end of this year.
Okay, so that's good. And that's obviously desperately needed. The other question I have is like from a levels above us in government, they're now all talking about from policy perspectives. And I know this is a bit of a question that goes to both you and Commissioner Hamilton. Everybody seems to be saying the reason we don't have more supply is because municipalities take too long. And there is, in my assessment, we are like usually exceeding our targets for permit delivery and even getting people to PAC meetings to get approvals for rezoning and all this. So what does that look like in how we interact as a city to those groups at the provincial level, at the federal level, who want to see more supply? And then they're turning around and trying to craft policy that's basically saying it's because we're too slow. Do we feel like are we getting that feedback that we're too slow, we're held up and there's all these things in the way? What does that look like? Because with a big pipeline like this, it seems like the problem isn't turnaround, the problem is construction, the ability to actually build.
Yeah, it's a great question, Councillor. And, I've seen certainly a shift over the last number of years. There was a time where people definitely had concerns with respect to our turnaround times. I don't believe that's the issue anymore. We do have very reasonable turnaround times, which we do meet under most cases. Our planning approvals as well, we move quite quickly on our planning approvals. And, if you compare with other cities, particularly in other provinces, we talk in terms of months. Some other areas talk in terms of years to get approvals. We're weeks and months. So I really don't think it's an approval situation, although we're always working with the clients, particularly through our pre-application service, to help them be as successful as possible when they're ready to come in for the permit, so that they know everything that they need to do and that they're prepared when they come in. So that's been very successful. And we continue to work with the developers on that, but we've been hearing good things about our service in recent years for sure. Commissioner Hamilton, yeah.
Commissioner?
Yes, through you to Councillor Harris. I just wanted to add a couple of points. Certainly from a growth readiness perspective, we are fortunate to have a very progressive urban plan SJ, and zoning framework that actually encourages density. So a lot of areas have been upzoned for density, but certainly it's an area that we are consistently improving upon. We certainly just made a number of amendments through our housekeeping amendments that were meant to really streamline the process for affordable housing, and that's something that we will continue to do on an ongoing basis, as well as really integrating our infrastructure investments to support growth, so that we are really enhancing our growth readiness and ensuring that we are accelerating opportunities for housing. And certainly we've made, in terms of engaging the development community, we do on a regular basis. Amy and her team talk to developers to understand what is needed to unlock the conditions for development with those 1,700 units that are in the pipeline. We're going to continue to do that on a go-forward basis. I know in our work plan for this year, we have planned to do a developer symposium. And certainly we really want to understand from a city perspective what else we can do to build on that really progressive growth-ready environment that we have at the City of St. John.
Thanks.
Great. Over to Councillor Lowe.
As the unsightly premises under their act, could the city manager tell us what's going on about the outside, the homeless shelters that are vacated now, and when the work's going to begin to clean up these sites in the city?
Certainly. We had a very productive meeting last week, coordinating with the various stakeholder groups, Fresh Start as well as HDC, and coordinating our resources. so that we attend to the cleanup now that we do have the opportunity where we understand homelessness has decreased somewhat in our community, thankfully. So our plan is to get started this week with a couple of sites. In all, there are about 6 encampments that are vacated at this time. And then there are a number that remain occupied. So the plan is to clean up 2 this week, and hopefully, depending upon resource availability, 4 next week. Again, that's coordinated with Fresh Start and HDC to ensure that they go in ahead of time and confirm that the encampments are indeed vacated.
Thank you, CEO. Okay, over to Deputy Mayor McKenzie.
Thank you, Amy. It looks like we're on a very positive trend as we've been the last couple of years, and it's good to see that continue. Just on a follow-up to Councillor Lowe's question, CEO, the province has a few on their property. Have they been involved with these talks, and are they going to take immediate action to clean those up as well?
Yes, they were part of the discussion as well, and they're supportive of ensuring that they pay the costs associated with properties with encampments on their land. And we're looking at leading it from a coordination perspective, given that we have firsthand knowledge where they are and we're dealing with a service provider for cleanup of these sites. So that'll expedite things, and then they're to reimburse us for the costs associated with the cleanup on their lands.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. If there's nothing else, we'll take a motion to receive and file. The mayor and the deputy. On the question, all those in favor? Thank you so much. And with that, I will take a motion to adjourn. Councillor Lowe and Councillor Harris. Okay, thanks, everyone. Have a great day.